Hello, Kevin Rhodes with Keller Williams Realty, a Dave Ramsey endorsed real estate team here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Wanted to take a quick moment to talk to you about multiple offers. First, let's start off from the buyer side. I want you to know that when you make an offer on a home in a hot market, if 10 offers are received, 9 of those obviously are gonna lose. So the intent of this video is to help you become number 1. First off, if you can be a cash offer, that talks volumes to a seller. It removes the appraisal contingency, financing contingency, there's no lender required repairs, and there's no pesky underwriter sitting in an office somewhere demanding that the seller do A, B, C, and D. If you don't have the means to be a cash buyer, see in the description below the Homeward link, and that will lead you to a website that is currently offering you to become a cash buyer without having to sell your home, or if you don't have a home to sell, they'll allow you to be a cash buyer as well. The fees are very reasonable and it's a super, super cool program. In relation to multiple offers, one of the things that's oftentimes discussed is cover letters. Should a buyer write a cover letter to a seller? And I would say there's a pro and a con to that. Cover letters oftentimes can connect with sellers in situations where the buyer may be a military veteran and the seller's a military veteran. Oftentimes that works. Sellers aren't supposed to discriminate based upon age, race, family status, religion, any of those topics right there. But a cover letter can sometimes skew a seller's perception of who the buyer is. So consult with your real estate agent or the real estate agent on my team, and we'll guide you and we'll come up with a plan in relation to the cover letter. A strong lender letter certainly can help. What I mean by that is oftentimes if the home is, say, $400,000 and your pre-approval letter from the lender says $400,000, sometimes that may be like the maximum budget. So I always recommend if you're approved for $450,000 and $500,000 and you're only offering $400,000, just go ahead and get the approval letter for $500,000. It certainly makes you appear much stronger to a seller, and that can help. You could also ask your lender to make a phone call to the listing agent. That definitely helps because I, as a listing agent, love when I have a proactive lender on the other side of a contract, and that can help me push towards working with that buyer. You can also increase your cash down. If you're only putting down 5%, let's say you have 2 offers and one is putting down 5% and the other one's putting down 20%. The one putting down more cash means that if we ever experience turbulence in the transaction, the one with more cash is a stronger buyer that can help us navigate through that. You could also consider writing in an appraisal clause. Right now we're in an escalating market. So if the home, again, in this example is worth $400,000 and you're offering $425,000, you can guarantee that difference. We will provide comps to you in relation to how homes have sold in the neighborhood over the last 6 months. Valuations currently aren't necessarily being based upon comps. They're based upon supply and demand, as there's very little supply right now. So if you tell us you want to offer $25,000 more and you're willing to guarantee the difference if it doesn't appraise, that's huge, and that'll speak volumes to the seller. You can also increase your earnest money. Earnest money is the money parked at the title company that is then disputed over if one party defaults or the other. Traditionally, it's 1% of the purchase price. So in the example of $400,000 home, it'd be $4,000. But imagine if a seller received your contract with $10,000 earnest money on there. That speaks volumes as far as the strength and the seriousness of you as a buyer. Additionally, you could offer to pay for the title policy. The title policy ranges in price based upon the sales price of the home. It's set by the Texas State Insurance Board. Typically, it's a seller's expense, but if you are willing to cover that expense, it nets the seller more, which again makes your offer stand out. You could also not ask for a 1-year home warranty. Most buyers do ask for a dollar amount ranging from $500 to $1,000 for a home warranty on the contract that the seller pays for. Well, imagine if you removed that off the contract in its entirety. You are just showing that you netted that client, that seller, $500 to $1,000 more, which helps you arrive at the top of the list in relation to offers. You could also increase your option money. Option money is the money that you pay to the seller to take their home off the market so that you can get the home inspected. It's also commonly known as the inspection period. Traditionally, it's $100 to $150. What if you did $500? What if you did $1,000? Now you need to be prepared to separate from this money because after you inspect the home, if you decide to back out or terminate, or you're not able to come to a repair agreement, that money will go to the seller. But putting more money down in this category will certainly help make you stand out. Additionally, you could adjust your purchase price. Say you're offering $400,000. Imagine if you took it to $401,000. There might be 5 other offers that came in at an even number. Go ahead and adjust the purchase price up oddly, and that may help you edge out the competition. You could also opt for no option period, no inspection period. Probably 1% of buyers do that in the market because heaven forbid they buy a house and it would have termites. They traditionally want to make sure to get a home inspection. But in a hyper competitive market, if you're confident that you want to live in that house in that neighborhood, maybe remove the option period entirely. And that gives the seller peace of mind knowing that they're not going to have to negotiate any repairs, which again would definitely help elevate you to the top. Certainly don't ask for personal property. If you make an offer on their home, full price or above full price or whatever terms you come to, and then you ask for 15 furniture pieces, traditionally that doesn't sit well with sellers unless the seller is promoting that they're for sale. Mineral rights. Mineral rights are a big topic here in Texas. You're going to be living in the home, playing in the yard. You want to be in that community. So mineral rights really shouldn't bother you because the drill site, if there was one, is going to be a mile or two away and they're doing directional drilling. Mineral rights conveyed to the seller or allow the seller to keep their mineral rights as they move on. That can also make your offer look stronger. In relation to your financing contingency, if you're getting a loan, typically we'll see anywhere from 15 to 21 days in there, which means you have 15 to 21 days to get fully financially approved with your lender. If you could shorten that down to 7 days, 6 days, 8 days, just talk with your lender, talk with your real estate agent, and come up with a shorter time period because that again makes you look favorable to the seller. Seller preferred close date. Be flexible on this. Seller preferred time after closing to move out. If you can offer the seller their close date and also some duration of time after closing for them to move out, that is very convenient for the seller and again can put you to the top of the list. The goal here is to really figure out what the seller wants and what the seller needs. Because again, you're in a multiple offer situation. It's time to roll up your sleeves and combat to get the property that you want. And that's what me and my team are absolutely excellent at doing. The way to do that is the buyer's agent that you work with will talk to the listing agent and find out what's the ideal close date. Do they need a lease back? Is the personal property that they offered, is it preferred that it sells or not? There's a whole list of items we'll go through to qualify what it is that the seller needs, and then we can frame the offer based upon that. Sometimes know this, the seller doesn't always take the highest priced home. I myself have had many clients who have taken a lower offer because the terms were better. So it's not just the sales price. So don't be afraid of submitting an offer that might be a little bit less in price than what you think others might offer, but absolutely kills it on the terms of the contract, because that could go a long way for the seller. And just be different. Be different by design. Trim the fat of the contract. Absolutely swing for the fences. I promise you, if you be different and structure your contract in ways that we've discussed here in this video, you have a much better chance of securing the home of your dreams. Okay, now let's talk about multiple offers for sellers. The number one thing to remember here, guys, is you cannot discriminate based upon race, religion, sex, national origin, family status, or disability. You're gonna have offers that come in with cover letters likely. You're gonna have offers that have the buyer's names written on there. And just please know that you cannot discriminate for those items. You also can select an offer to work with at any given point in time. If you've received an offer or two and you've announced highest and best, and then all of a sudden you receive an offer that you absolutely blows your hair back and you wanna accept it, you as a seller have a right to accept that. I will say the most traditional path to netting you the most money and getting you the best terms is to announce a highest and best timeline. What that means is we list on Friday, we start to receive offers on Saturday and Sunday, and it appears that more showings are scheduled to come in. Oftentimes what we'll do is announce a highest and best timeline, say offers due in by Monday at noon. Seller will be reviewing with agent Monday at 5 p.m. and notification will be sent out Monday evening. You can lose a few interested buyers through this process because they get disinterested in competing. Some of their real estate agents tell them that it's a bidding war that's happening. I do use communication that definitely educates the agents because I don't know if the agents are going to be newer agents or older agents, but I want them to know it's not a bidding war. What it is submit your client's highest and best. Submit what they feel like they are willing to pay for that property, and then we'll just see where the cards fall. But you may lose some, but generally speaking, most buyers do definitely step up. They change their offer from their initial offer and they sharpen the terms. The other thing we want to make sure that the buyer's seen the house. In this market that might be not as common with COVID and people not traveling across the US. So sight unseen offers do happen, but what can happen with sight unseen offers is you get a great offer, you sign it, you're excited, then the buyer comes and sees the house, the floor plan isn't what they wanted, and so oftentimes the deal can fall apart. So we want to be acutely aware of that, so we'll keep tabs on that. When it comes time to deciding on an offer, I will provide with you a net sheet, a seller's net sheet. A lot of clients make their decision based upon the net sheet, but also it's gonna, my format is also gonna have absolutely every single term of the offer. Earnest money, close date, is there any personal property, who the title company is, are they asking for a home warranty, how much cash down, which lender is it with a big bank that we know is has a history with delayed closings, or with a local lender I've had experience with that absolutely nails it, who the buyer's agent is. A lot of people don't think about that, but sometimes the buyer's agent is non-communicative, not responding to texts, not responding to emails. Is that really somebody that we want to partner with? And then it's also really important to know where the buyer's heart is. If it's possible to find out that they have friends or family member in the neighborhood, that can really be a good locked-in client that you want, where they love the house, they want to live there, they want to be close to their friends, and so when hiccups arise, whether it be the appraisal or the lending process, or maybe the home inspection, they're less likely to default and back out of the contract. So all those things are super, super important. And one of the things I want to suggest too is, as a seller, even though you're tired after negotiating all these offers, it's ideal for you to have a backup offer in place, because if offer number one or buyer number one that you've signed a contract with, if that person backs out, then offer number two slides into your new buyer immediately. You don't have to go back on the market, no more showings. Down below in the description, I will put a link in there for my backup offer video, and both buyers and sellers alike can check that out. So I hope you found it enlightening. If you got any questions, please feel free to comment. You can call, text, or email me. Me and my real estate team are happy to work with you anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And just know that Dave Ramsey endorses us. So that says a lot, because Dave has a high standard of requirements that we execute in this real estate world. Thank you so much for your time.